Hello, I am Joanna Ramirez, and I'm here today with a very special guest, and her name is
Miss Armendariz, aka Miss A.
Today we will be discussing Miss A's role here at Poly, and we will also be joined by our live studio audience. So I'm gonna get started by asking, how was your day?
So far, so good.
That is
Thank you for asking. Appreciate that.
So let's get started. Um, you know what? I'm gonna ask, what exactly is your career called?
My title is Intervention Specialist. It's a little bit confusing. Some people think I'm a counselor. Not quite, somewhat, but a little bit different. So I'm a school social worker. My degree is a master's in social work, and I also have a state license as a social worker. It's a LMSW. So even though my title says intervention, just look at it as like a mental health professional, somebody who provides resources on the campus for students and their families.
Was there anyone that inspired you to pursue your career?
Absolutely. When I was in high school, I had a really hard time, and I needed a lot of support. I was very high functioning. I went to school, I did my work. I was kind of one of those kids that I was really good at hiding my struggles. And I really needed support, and I was blessed and lucky to meet my intervention specialist. Her name was Maria Ibarra, and shout out to her. She's actually still an intervention specialist with Forward ISD. She's at Success High School. She listened, she made me feel seen, and she believed me whenever I told her my pain and my struggles. And I think that she really inspired the start of me wanting to be that same person for others, to be able to turn around and give back and be the person that I needed when I was younger. Yeah, so shout out to Miss Ibarra.
Okay. So for the audience, questions?
Okay, so hi, my name is Claudia Diaz. How did your job change you as a person?
Hi, Claudia. Good morning.
Morning.
That's a wonderful question. This job has helped me learn and grow alongside the students. A lot of people think that I'm just a problem solver, a solution finder. I don't have all the answers. Sometimes I have to just kind of sit with you and be with you in whatever it is you're feeling and processing. And the more I learn what you guys' struggles are as students, I can reflect upon myself and figure out where I have room to grow, where I can work on my self-care, what are my triggers, right? Because I'm older now, but there's still things that I can relate to, that you guys go through, that I've also gone through. Sometimes I have to recognize that I need to take care of myself better. I need a minute. I need to take a step, outside, get some fresh air. I think that the most important part of this role that has changed me as a person is that I have so much patience. I used to be very like, go, 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 go. And it reminds me to slow down and to make meaningful interactions with you guys. And it also helps me connect better with people outside of school, in my own personal life, and have those really strong bonds and connections with the people around me. I just want to have a village around me of people that understand what I do and support me. And so it's changed the company that I keep, the way I surround myself outside of here, and I have connected more with like-minded people that understand my role and what I do. So I have more social work friends and less of the people that I grew up with, right? More people that actually make a difference in my life. So it's definitely changed me for the better, that's for sure, in a lot of ways, absolutely. But I would say the number one thing is my patience. Yes, I have to be very patient working with high school kids. Thank you for your question.
Back to the audience.
My name is Giselle. What pops up in your mind when you hear that someone thinks about doing suicide?
Hi, Giselle. Thank you for your question. That is a very, very good question. And actually, it's a lot more common than a lot of people realize. The first thing that pops in my mind is the training that I have on how to handle these situations. I always have to make sure I'm following my licensure, my code of ethics, and what the district protocol is. So anytime a student is coming to me presenting with any type of dark, morbid thoughts, suicidal ideation, or they're just feeling really low, there are things that I can do to assess exactly how that looks for them and what I need to do to get them the proper support and help off of campus. Usually when somebody is at that point, they're in crisis, and it's hard to reach out to say, this is how I feel. So I always take it seriously. I don't think people would just say, this is how I feel, when that's something so hard to share. If it wasn't really true, right? Nobody's gonna just say, yeah, this, just to play around. That's some heavy stuff, you know? So if you're sharing that with me, I feel honored that you trusted me to share that with me. I feel like you chose a safe person, and I wanna do the best thing that I can to handle you with care and to follow the protocol that the district has set on how to move forward with any type of suicide thoughts and things that kiddos that often struggle with. Thank you for your question.
Does anyone else have a question?
Hi, I'm Emily. What makes you, or what has happened to make you want to talk and help others?
Emily, this is my favorite question so far. I will get personal with you guys. I'm an open book, and that's because I've done a lot of work on healing myself. I was a trauma baby. I had a lot of trauma in my life. I had, basically, you think about it, I probably went through it. When I was in high school, I was actually homeless. So I was sleeping in the park. I didn't really have a lot of support from my family, and it was a really lonely time for me. High school was supposed to be fun, you're supposed to be like enjoying, getting ready to start your life. That wasn't my experience. So when I grew up and I decided to go to college, I wanted to break the generational curses of my family. I was the first person to go to college in my family, and I knew that that was my only way out from that life. And so when I was studying and deciding, you know, in college, you can change your major a million times. I wanted to do something that meant something to me. I didn't want to just do what was going to pay me the most money, what was going to be, you know, something that made me famous. I wanted to do something that meant something in here. And so I decided that I remember the people who impacted me the most, and they were all social workers. So then I decided, I can be a social worker. And so that's when it all kind of came together for me. Thank you for your question, Emily.
Hi, I'm Camila. How you feel with your students?
Repeat your question, sweetie.
How you feel with your students?
How do I feel with my students? Oh, it just depends on the interaction. I feel lots of different things. The most important thing, though, is to keep my personal feelings out of it and to be professional. There are times where I feel disappointed or discouraged, you know, if like I'm really trying to help and maybe they're not ready for that. There are times where I can get frustrated, you know, because, you know, some people will take advantage of my kindness and, you know, manipulate sometimes, or just because they want to skip a class, or so some little things can be frustrating for sure. But most importantly, the positive emotions I feel all the time. I feel connected. I feel empowered. I feel really powerful that I'm the person that students come to and trust to tell their life story, right? I mean, like, what an honor that you chose me as your person. So I think the most important feelings that I feel are the good ones, the happy times, the laughter, and just making those connections. Thank you for that question.
Moving on.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and what is one case that has affected you the most?
Hi, Stephanie. I was prepared for this question. I don't have one case to give you. I have many. The cases that affect me the most, and this is something that I know I will continue to struggle with, are the ones that I never get closure on. Kiddos that leave that I never see again. Bad situations that I wasn't able to help resolve. You know, there are things that are beyond my control that go on in family homes, outside in the community, you know, gang violence. You know, there are students we've lost, we all know, right? We've been going through it this year, right? Those are hard for me. And I try so hard not to take it personal, but I feel like you guys are my babies too, especially when you tell me your whole life story and you trust me that way. So sometimes I do have a lot of grief and things that I have to process of my sadness of, man, I wish I could have done more, or I hate that that was the situation, but it was out of my control. I think it's the non-closure that's hard for me. There's a lot of kids that come and go, and I may never see them again. Yeah, so that's something I just have to get used to. Thank you for your question.
My name is Marlene. Do you feel tired at times?
Oh, girl. Yes, I do. I feel very tired. Working with high schoolers, you guys make me feel like I'm like, woo, I'm only 30. But I definitely feel like I need to take care of myself so that I can keep up. You guys are go, go, go. You know, you got a lot of energy, and sometimes the fast-paced nature of high school can really wear me out. So I have to do a really good job of getting good night's rest, not going to bed late, and working on my own personal issues, not bringing my personal problems to work with me. I do feel exhausted a lot of the time. That's also because I'm fairly new to the campus, so I'm still learning and growing, and I think the more I get used to what poly community is like and what the expectations are here, I think that I will get into the rhythm and the flow of how everything goes here. Thank you for that question.
Hi, my name is Remus. Do you find it difficult or hard to help yourself when you're so used to helping others?
Yes, thank you for your question. It's so easy to talk the talk, and it's hard to walk the walk. I have students sometimes call me out like, "Miss, you need to eat lunch. Miss, go for a walk." Because I'm such a helper, that's just my nature. I'm always like, yeah, what can I do? What can I do? Sometimes I do need to check in with myself. Whoa, I haven't had lunch today, haven't went potty all day. Whoa, I need to take a break. Like, let's slow things down. And I also absorb a lot of trauma on a day-to-day basis. Hearing you guys' story, it can also traumatize me, especially if it's something I haven't experienced, or if I did experience it, I felt deeply about it. So I have to take care of my own mental health. I have to take myself to therapy. I have to do all these things to keep myself in check so that I can bring my best self to work for you guys every day. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your question.
Adding on to that, how do you help yourself, or like who's usually there for you when you're struggling?
Oh, thank you for that. I have a couple of social work friends. You know, it's pretty interesting. My department, what I do is actually a district job. So a lot of people think I actually work for this school. I'm actually placed at this school, but I work for Fort Worth ISD. So I have a community of social workers that are placed all around the district. Those are my best friends. Those are my work besties. We don't see each other often, but we have a group chat. We check in. We talk about cases. We support each other. And when we have meetings, I don't know if you guys are like this, but like when you have an assembly or something, you're sitting there snickering and, you know, being a little bit immature. So when I see them, we kind of act that way, where we can kind of laugh and share our joy, and it doesn't have to be so heavy. We just keep it light and have fun and take care of each other. Have lunch, eat lots of chips and hot sauce. Those are my people. My social work friends, absolutely. And I honestly have to give a lot of credit to my spouse. My wife is amazing. She does everything she can to support me in my role, including being really patient with me when I come home and I'm not in a good place, right? Sometimes I go home upset and crying. I don't want to talk. I talked all day. And she is just very, very supportive. She takes care of me, takes care of our family. I can't not give her credit for that. She's definitely my number one, for sure.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Moving on to the audience.
Hey, my name is Jasmine, and is there any situations you couldn't solve or fix?
Oh yeah. A lot of people, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, a lot of people may misunderstand that I'm not necessarily a problem solver. I'm here to walk with you through your journey. I might can help you find solutions, and I might have experienced something before that you are currently going through, so that I can share what worked for me and what didn't work for me so that you don't have to endure that. But it's not about solving problems. It's about offering support, feeling seen, right? Some kids, they just don't get that. They don't have somebody to talk to. They don't get that nurturing love and affection at home. You know, everybody has a story. So it's just about learning where you are and meeting you where you are. There are times where I have a hard time making connections with students, and maybe that's because I'm not the right person for them. And I have to understand that that's okay too, and not take it personal. Maybe they just need to talk to somebody else, you know? So yeah, thank you for that. That's a good question.
Hi, my name is Aiden, and my question is, what is the best part of your job?
Aiden, thank you for your question. The best part of my job, you guys are the best part. I actually didn't work directly with people before. The kind of social worker I was before I came to Poly was like an administration. I was like behind the scenes. I wasn't sitting down face to face interacting with people. I was writing policies and programs and all that boring stuff, which is very important, but it doesn't feel the same, right? So I think now that I connect and I see this instant gratification of like when the joy lights up on your face, when we have a moment that's sentimental and I see a tear fall, when we build a bond, I think that that's what really impacts me the most, seeing the progress and the growth. There are students I started working with when I got here last year in March that were freshmen that are now sophomores, and to see their progress, to see how they've learned and taken my advice, and to see how they've turned themselves around. And I think I can't take credit for that, but I do feel rewarded by it, right? Like it's up to you guys what you do and the choices you make, but I do feel rewarded when you take my advice and it actually makes a difference. I think that's the funnest part. Hearing your crazy stories, what you guys go through, like the drama, the tea, the gossip, I hear all the things. And I hear the sad things too. And again, like I said earlier, it honors me that I'm the person that people choose to share that with, you know, to trust me to hold that and to keep that safe. That makes me feel very special. I think that's probably the most impactful thing for me is kids just, Miss A, Miss A, Miss A, you know, so excited when I walk in the door and I have like, oh gosh, guys, go to class, like, you know, we're gonna talk, don't worry. They get so excited. That makes me so happy though. To see people light up when they see me, like to have that effect on people, it makes me feel very loved. It makes me feel supported by the students and appreciated. I think that's the best part.
Is that everyone?
I think we're gonna do another question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so why do you think your job can help other people?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we have to normalize talking about mental health. I think we need to include it in our daily talks. Hey, let's check in. How are we feeling? What's going on? You know, what's the last thing we did to take care of ourselves? Sometimes we can't even remember because we're so busy going and going and going. So I think that that's something I really want to emphasize is let's talk about it. You know, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to need support. It's okay to need help. Like I said, we all have a story. We all have a story. And instead of coming from a place of judgment, we can really relate more than we realize. You know, we can share little bits and pieces about ourselves and it's like, oh my gosh, like I went through that too. And it was the same. And to share feelings, especially during times where you feel like you're alone, I think that connection right there is part of the healing process itself. So I think that's something I really want to emphasize is we can talk about it. Let's do it. You want support? You want to go to therapy? Let's go. You know, like I go to therapy. It's okay. It's you don't have to have trauma. You don't have to have negative things have happened to you in your life to benefit from it. So I think that I encourage everyone to talk to somebody, to find a professional. I'm not a therapist myself. I do have therapeutic skills and qualities that I can share, but I'm always encouraging students who are really struggling, you know, to try it out. And what's the worst that can happen? You know, you don't like them? Okay, fire them. Find a new one, you know? It's kind of like, I say this funny thing, it's kind of like shopping for shoes. When you go to therapy, it's like, everybody likes a different style of shoe and everybody likes a different fit, right? Some people have skinny feet, some people have wide feet. So you have to try them on, right? You have to make sure they feel good and maybe even walk in them a little bit. I feel like that's the case with therapy. Try it out. Just give it a test, see how it works. Sometimes you have to shop for a little bit till you find the right one. I think that's something I just want to continue to encourage, not just students, staff as well, because sometimes we get so lost in helping you guys that we burn out and we don't take care of ourselves. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that maybe with some teachers who were really tired one day and maybe were a little more grumpy than usual, and you know, things like, or administrators who are like, you know, it happens. They have hard jobs too. You know, we all have really difficult jobs. So I think it's really important to take care of yourself. Let's talk about what's wrong. Let's talk about what happened, you know, and let's find a way to work together to feel better. Absolutely. That's a really good question. Thank you.
How do you feel each time you're helping someone with their family problems?
It's different case by case, depending on what the problem is, and if I have the resources to help them. If I have the resources that they need, I feel very rewarded. I feel like grateful that I could help, right? Like I feel very blessed to be in the position that I am to help people and guide them. There are times where families need, their lights paid, or they need help with a water bill, or they need some groceries, or maybe kids don't have like shoes or clothes for school. And it's hard to say that. It's hard to say, hey, we need help. So if a family trusts me enough to tell me their problems and to ask for help, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them. Like I said, I don't always have the answers, but I'm going to find somebody who does. And the only promise I can ever make is that I'm going to try. That's the best that I can do. Thank you for your question.
Okay, I think that's a wrap. No more questions. And that's our show. Would you like to add anything else, or
Yes.
say something to people that are struggling to?
Absolutely. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be okay. And I want to share a little quote with you guys that's something that's kind of like my motto and that I live by. It sounds like cliche, and I don't know who said it, so you might have to research it so we can get the copyright right. But the quote is, don't let tomorrow's worries steal today's joy. Don't let tomorrow's worries steal today's joy. Be present. Make every moment count, and do more than the bare minimum. Be that person who holds the door. Do those meaningful interactions. Be kind, be polite, smile, say good morning. You never know what people are going through, and it's really hard to talk about it. So I just think the more we work on ourselves to be kind, to be good people, the more that it changes the community around us. So don't let tomorrow's worries steal today's joy. And that's me, Miss A.
Thank you, Miss A, for joining us today.
Thank you, Joanna.
And have a good one.
Appreciate everything. Thank you guys for your questions.
Thank you.